What is going on, WWE Universe? Mackenzie Mitchell here, and I will be joined by my colleague Evan T. Mack from WWE's The Bump. As always, as we like to do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we like to break it all down to everything that we saw that went down on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. So we're going to get into everything that happened on SmackDown tonight. But guys, I can't believe we are just really 2 days away from Money in the Bank, where we're going to see the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, all happening at the very same time, but at the WWE headquarters, to where everyone's climbing to the top at this exact same time, which I think is going to be chaos. I think it's going to be really awesome at the same time. So very excited for all of that. But we're going to break SmackDown down and talk about all that we thought about tonight and going into Money in the Bank this Sunday. So let me see if Evan's on here with me, and we'll get him in. There we go.
Great, this works. Technology sometimes is not my friend. So let's see if this all happens. What's going on?
Mackenzie!
How you doing?
What up, boo?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Crazy SmackDown, you know what I mean? Hanging out, so, social distancing and whatnot.
I'm losing you so we can...
You see me? You hear me?
I can hear you now. I always have to take myself off Wi-Fi. I feel like sometimes it works with Wi-Fi, sometimes it doesn't. So we're off Wi-Fi. But, Evan, I was just kind of talking about how I can't believe we're less than 2 days out from Money in the Bank. That's going down at WWE headquarters, somewhere that we're out pretty much every day when we're on normal life in Connecticut. And I cannot imagine how this is all going to happen. I'm like, what would my strategy be? How would I make this happen? Have you thought about this?
No, because after what Corey Graves was kind of giving an explanation, he's saying that both matches will be going on at the same time. You might be passing each other. You might be getting each other's way. And there's different levels and stages and places. And we've been there. So there's a lot going on. And it's like kind of like every man and woman for themselves. So it's very interesting.
It is very interesting. I'm like, I don't think I would be taking the elevator. I think I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go like Spider-Man style and climb on the outside of the building, or if I would go, like, I've been thinking about this because I'm like, we're there almost every day. So and I've had a lot of time to think at home as well. So, I will say it looked awesome looking at the view of what we're going to see on Sunday. So that'll definitely be very special to see that happen for the first time.
Yeah, you're right into it. It's interesting because if you take yourself to the elevator and someone stops the elevator and you're stuck in the elevator and you've eliminated yourself from the match. So I don't think the elevator is the right move, man. I'm telling you.
Okay, I don't either. So yeah, and can you imagine if Otis and Baron Corbin are in the elevator at the same time? That's what I was watching at the end, or thinking at the end of the match as well. Whenever you saw almost a one-on-one between Daniel Bryan and Baron Corbin. And then there was that moment with when Otis came in. So I was like, these guys, they've been put through it tonight. And then they're going to get back in the ring, or not in the ring, but now in the headquarters to then get to the top to then make it all happen. So I can only imagine if they were in the elevator together, what would all happen there.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And Otis is on a roll, it seems, but Baron Corbin was the guy left with the briefcase tonight. And I think you're right. It'd be plus we've seen Otis have trouble with the ladder. We didn't take that into effect because he's a pretty big guy, so it should be interesting to see how people use what strategy to help them get that briefcase on Sunday.
Yep. Well, I think we saw too, Baron Corbin did end up he was the one that captured the briefcase tonight with thinking, okay, if this is Sunday, he's got a contract. So does he almost have, and I think I saw a post on his social media as well, that he has a Money in the Bank briefcase hung in his office. So he's clearly been practicing this. He's been thinking about this.
If he's created parts of his house to kind of like, he's scouting things out. If he's recreating certain situations and using certain things to get to the top of the ladder in his home, I think he might be the most prepared for this Sunday, Mackenzie Mitchell.
Sure, but you don't think King Corbin's going to walk away with that contract?
I got Aleister Black still, man. I do, man. It's just you got to know, like Mac. I don't even know if he's lost since he's been in SmackDown. I don't think he's lost yet. So like I think he's one of the most ready to get the briefcase. I don't know what people I don't think people know what to expect from Aleister Black, so that's my pick. I don't know who you're picking, though.
I picked Rey Mysterio. I think you can't go wrong with Rey. I think that Rey would have a strategy like no one else would. So we don't really know what's in the minds of all these superstars right now, but I think picking Rey would be a solid choice, and it always is solid going with Rey Mysterio. So I don't know, like you said, it's like it's anybody's game. Nobody really knows at this point. So I think that'll be really interesting because nobody knows what to expect. But do you think that since Otis and Daniel Bryan and King Corbin were in this match tonight, do you think that they're a little weakened going into the match on Sunday? Do you think that affects them?
Yeah, it's a good question, though. It could go both ways. You can look at it as like their weekend. You can look at it as like they might have an advantage because they kind of felt some of the people they'll go against, and they can scout and they can adjust and certain things like that. So you can look at it like glass half empty or half full. I still do. I'm a fan of the person that's fresher, or the superstar that's fresher, and the ones that weren't involved tonight, I think might have the advantage going into Sunday.
Right, I agree. Well, if we turn our attention to the women's Money in the Bank match, we saw Tamina and Lacey Evans get a win tonight. Lacey Evans is going to be in the women's Money in the Bank. Do we think that Lacey could walk away with the win from the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
She's in with some serious customers. I have Lacey Evans climbing the ladder, getting the briefcase. I do. I'm not forgetting about Shayna. I'm not forgetting about the great Asuka. I'm not even forgetting about Carmella. But I do think it's Lacey Evans' time. I think she's poised and ready and prepared, and this is it. What say you, Mackenzie Mitchell?
It's really hard because I think there's so many great competitors in this match that it's hard to say. But I'm going with Carmella. I think this is a third time for her. I think that she's got an advantage. She's got a one-up on everybody where she's done this before. This is just, and I think every match is different. Every year has to be different for her. But at the same time, I'm thinking she's already won this a couple times, so she knows what it's like. So I'm going to say Carmella, but I think same with the men's. It's anyone's game. I think it'll be total chaos that we'll see on Sunday. But as I was mentioning before, Lacey Evans and Tamina got the win. Tamina really was the one that pinned Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. She gets her opportunity against Bayley on Sunday. What are we going to see when that all goes down?
It's very interesting. I don't know. Like, Tamina's on such a streak, and she seems to have Bayley's number at the moment. Bayley is a fighting champion. She's had the title for quite some time. Tamina gets the win. There has to be some kind of psychological thing going for Tamina. You know what I mean? So I had Tamina pulling off the shock of the world, but I don't know how you feel about that. But I think this is the best time as any to get Bayley right now.
Do you think that Sasha Banks is going to interfere in this at all on Sunday?
By interfere, what do you mean? Like hang out, like say hello to her friend, like just hold a ladder for her, like what? I mean, what do you mean?
Well, I think that's an interesting question because it can go either way. There's two sides of the coin here where Sasha can interfere in different ways to where, she might be helping her friend, but then there could be a moment to where it interferes and it causes her a loss. So who knows? I think that's all up in the air too, but I could definitely see Sasha playing some kind of part in Sunday for sure. Cause I think,
Ryan?
Yeah, I know Ryan's probably watching this thing, like, cause I know that he's like, leave my girl alone. Sasha Banks is my girl. She's the best wrestler in the world. He always has to let us know that. So I think that'll be interesting. But what I did think was funny tonight was, if you notice, Bayley was talking to Michael Cole during the match. She kept pointing out, like, that's right, Michael Cole, I heard you say that. And I'm thinking, how is she she is the SmackDown Women's Champion for sure. So she, is at the top of the ladder here. But I'm like, she is listening to all of everything that's going on and hearing her surroundings. And so that was a very interesting point that I don't think we see that much, that a wrestler's in the ring and she's hearing the commentators and she's still talking with them. You know?
It's very interesting to see that, though. It's either that's how confident she is, or it could be a distraction, because Tamina is super, super focused, and this is the most focused I've ever seen her. Back in the day, The Rock used to take the commentary headset, and he used to commentate his matches while he beat people up. So it reminded me a little bit of that, with Bayley being very in tune to what the commentators are saying, and she's the most confident I have ever seen her. So you got the most confident Tamina, the most confident Bayley. Something's coming to a head this Sunday. It's crazy.
It is crazy. We do have Bailey on the bump, on Wednesday. Do you have anything that you're going to say to her?
Listen, I try to stay because I think Pap's gonna be there, and I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible because I don't want any problems from Miss Bailey. I'm telling you, we I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Last time I talked to her, she asked me, she didn't even know who I was, so I'm trying to ingratiate myself with her this Sunday, and I hope she remembers who I am. And I'm gonna say, good luck, champ, and knock him dead.
You're keeping the peace here, Evan.
I'm trying to keep the peace on.
I hear you. Well, what we also saw in the women's division tonight was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. We've obviously seen this personal rivalry turn even more personal. It was wild to watch, and it's like I don't even know my thoughts on this. Of like, I have to attribute this to a friend. You have to think of this of like, if your former best friend did this to you, how would you feel?
Yes.
And I can only imagine. What do you think about all of this, Evan?
Yeah, it's interesting. You think about what they've been through and the things they have, and starting a business together, and getting to the point that they are right now. And is the damage done? Is the bridge burned? Can they get this back? Is this just I guess, is this something they need to do to move on and become friends again? But it seems like it's super personal. And I can't imagine fighting like my best friend, especially on an international stage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's very interesting. But maybe they need this. Maybe they need to air this out in front of everybody and move on so they can get tight again.
And Sonya, we saw her getting in Mandy's head, and she still continues to do that. If you're noticing, because it's not only a physical battle, it's a mental battle as well. As to where. I think I said this with Ryan last week. She's playing the break card to where she's like, okay, I'm going to keep talking to her. And then maybe, it's weakening her as we're in this match against each other. But we saw Sonya's MMA background come out a little bit tonight. And I'm thinking, what do you do if you're in Mandy's case? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and there's very you will very seldom find anyone as fit as Mandy, but Sonya Deville has a different layer to her game as far as mixed martial arts. And it's this interesting style that they're contrasting, and she broke that out this evening just to show her that she has a little more to offer in this ring. And so it's very interesting to see, man. I'm telling you. And tonight she had her number. Yeah,
I agree. It'll be interesting to see where you go from here, because it's thinking where do you go from here? That's the bottom line question of like, do you still go at each other? Is there going to be like, I don't know. There's so many questions surrounding it. But we also saw an 8-man tag team match tonight with the New Day and Lucha House Party and Miz and Morrison and the Forgotten Sons, which I feel like was almost a preview into what we're going to see at Money in the Bank on Sunday. Obviously, it's going to be a fatal 4-way on Sunday, but I think that'll be interesting to kind of see how that'll goes together. What are your thoughts on all of that? Who do you think's walking away on Sunday?
It's crazy. I actually got the Forgotten Sons winning this match. Don't ask me why. Listen, I don't know. I slept on it. I'm thinking about it. They're the team. They're the monkey wrench. They're the wild card in this. I seen they have impressive and innovative moves they used tonight on some of the other competitors, and it's the team that you don't think can win, and that means they have the least amount of pressure. So I think they have a good chance of winning.
Right. Well, you saw last week that they got the victory over the New Day in non-title action. So it's like, do they deserve this title opportunity? Absolutely. They're coming in, making such a big impact on the SmackDown roster.
Yes.
And if you think about it in this way, there's a 25% chance that the New Day will walk away as champions, compared to a 75% chance that somebody else could walk away as new SmackDown champs. Wow. So it's like, that's what I was thinking of in the numbers wise of like, how do you in your opinion, do you think that the Forgotten Sons will walk away as new champs? Or you think that the New Day can hold on to it?
I like you said, the thing about it is, like, if a betting man would put their money on the New Day, it's just I see a little bit of different things playing out this Sunday. I feel there's a lot of things going on. It's the most unique Money in the Bank ladder matches and most unique Money in the Bank matches ever. So I think there's a lot going on with that. I think the Forgotten Sons have literally been forgotten, and I think they really want to shock the world.
Sure. Well, we saw Miz and Morrison last week on commentary during the match of Forgotten Sons when they defeated the New Day. Yes. Do you think that they watched that on purpose to say, they knew, they were almost like, okay, well, if we're going to tag with them eventually, we've got to figure out this jive. Do you think that gave them a one-up going into tonight's match?
100%, and the way they performed showed. But but then you got, like I said, as far as that goes, Miz and Morrison, who literally been slighted. They felt they were slighted at the Crown Jewel. They felt they were slighted when they were putting in all these crazy ladder matches and all these triple threat matches where they both couldn't compete and all these things. So I think they really wanted this retribution. And I could be overlooking them as well, because they still feel like they're the rightful champs for many different reasons, because they didn't like the way things shaped out.
Right. Well, I think it'll be wild to see what happens when it's team against team against team against team on Sunday. If we can spell it all out that way, in a fatal 4-way match, I think it's anybody's game to see who will take home the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So
Agreed.
See about that. But tonight we also saw a long-awaited return in Jeff Hardy. And we all knew Sheamus was going to come out. I had a feeling, and then lo and behold, he sure did.
He did, and it's very interesting because when we spoke to Jeff Hardy on our show, he was saying that you're going to see a new Jeff Hardy, a different Jeff Hardy, a Jeff Hardy that feels he has a lot left to give and a lot more things to contribute. And then look who knocked on his door. You know what I mean? I don't know if he had this in mind, but Sheamus came out there and has different plans, and that's a big Irishman, and I don't want those kind of problems. I don't know about you.
And we saw Sheamus. Yeah, we saw Sheamus when he was on the bump, and he sure was intimidating. So I don't even know where that goes from here. But I did note that Jeff Hardy hasn't missed a beat. He goes out, and it's just like he comes back to the ring. You know, he still says he's got a lot more time left in WWE, so much more to give. Yes, understandably. But then as soon as Sheamus came in, he was ready to fight. He was ready to rock and roll, and it looked like he didn't even miss a second out from being in the ring. So I'm excited to see Jeff go back into the ring full time, and kind of see what he can still do.
And that's what I was thinking, the same thing, because like it's as tough as Sheamus is, we've known what the things that Jeff has been through and the matches that he's gone through and the things he's willing to do to his body in order to go that extra mile. So I know as tough as Sheamus is, Jeff's going to give him all he can handle.
Absolutely. Well, something else that we saw was Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, this Universal Championship rivalry, and this long-time personal rivalry between the two kind of be reopened over the past few weeks, and then they came face-to-face again tonight in the ring. And if you saw, Bray tried to give Braun the black sheep mask, and for a moment, it's like, if you looked in Braun's eyes, was he like, okay, it kind of threw him off, as it would anybody. Yeah. And I don't even know, like, it has to be so personal between both of them standing there face to face in the ring.
Yeah, and I know part of Braun is thinking about those times and those moments that he had when he was with Bray. And I think Bray, by extending his olive branch, I think he was sincere. If I'm telling you, if he would hand over that title, join forces with Bray, I think all be forgiven and whatnot. But I do think he also respects that Braun was like, no. Because when he was like, bye, see you Sunday, kind of like an ode to Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse, Bray had that smile on his face, like, oh, okay, I'll see you Sunday.
Right, and I think it'll be interesting to see, because how many people actually defeat Bray Wyatt? You know what I mean? Like, we saw what happened at WrestleMania with John Cena. We've seen him several times where Bray gets in people's heads. So I think it'll be really interesting if it's already a mind game from what happened back in the day with being former family, and then now taking this in a whole different direction with a championship on the line. It's like, where do you go from here? And I think there has to be some kind of temptation, just a tad bit, for Braun to be like, oh, I remember those times. But I can't take myself back to that spot.
No, he has to stay on task, and he has to realize that he is the Universal Champion, and he's the guy that's holding that at this moment. So it's like, if he said he's a different guy, he's a different person. He has to prove to Bray this Sunday that that's the case. He has to retain his title to really, really shut the door on this Wyatt family reunion.
Yeah, I can't wait for all of that on Sunday for sure. So, but I have one more question for you, Evan. Ooh. Who is the hacker on SmackDown? Who's the hacker?
I know it's not me. That's probably one thing I think. I know it's not me. I can tell everybody with all certainty it is not me.
It is not you. It's not me.
I don't know. I really don't know, man. It'd be cool if it was Vince. Wouldn't that be cool if it was Vince?
That would be, wow. That would blow everyone's mind.
It would. It'd be like No Chance. With the No Chance theme song hits, then it comes out. Oh, that
Oh
would be
my
cool.
goodness. I can only imagine. Yeah, I have no idea. And then bringing out all of these clips from the shows, and
Spilling all the
reliving those
tea.
moments.
He's giving all
Yeah,
the tea.
yeah, spilling all the tea for sure. And then there was a voicemail that came across. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens there as well.
It's
But
crazy. I know, right?
everybody's wondering who is this
Who is
hacker?
the hacker?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but all right. Well, I'm very excited for Sunday. There's a
Me
lot in
too.
store.
Yes.
Sunday's bump is going to be amazing.
Crazy.
Very excited. The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, Bailey, so much more. So very excited for all of that. And then Money in the Bank this Sunday. Can't believe it's
Yes.
already here.
It's
So,
gonna be amazing. I'm excited, man. Good luck with doing killing the interviews, by the way. I see you,
aw,
NXT and whatnot. I see you, girl.
thank
I see
you.
you down there, girl.
Thank you. Hey, there are worse places you can be stuck than Florida. I love being in Florida. So
I'm
I'm
sure.
like,
I see
I'm
you on the
loving
beach.
being
I
here.
seen that beach photo shot.
Oh my goodness.
I see you with the photo shoot you was doing.
Oh, well, thank you. But it's been great being here for sure. But
Absolutely.
anyways, Evan, all right, well, have a good night. Thanks
You
everybody
too,
for
love.
joining us and talking about SmackDown. And we
Yeah.
look forward to Sunday.
Yes.
All right.
Take it easy.
Thanks. Bye,
Bye.
Evan.